"Don't come to Mom's birthday. You'll ruin the photos." That was the exact text that flashed on Emily's phone at 3:17 p.m. She read it once, then twice, as if the words might change. They didn't. The sender was her sister Claire, cold, sharp, and unforgiving in a way only siblings can be. The message wasn't just an invitation denied. It was a sentence, a deliberate slice across the bond of family. Emily sat frozen in her modest apartment, phone glowing in her hand. The irony stung. Tomorrow's glamorous celebration, the one she was now banned from, wouldn't even exist without her. For months, Emily had been the silent architect behind the scenes, secretly funding the entire event. And now, she was being erased from it, excluded because she didn't fit the image. Claire wanted perfection. A ballroom dripping with elegance, chandeliers glowing like starlight, tables lined with white roses and crystal flutes. She wanted the photos to scream sophistication, to earn likes, envy, admiration. And Emily? With her 10-year-old car, thrift store dresses, and reputation for throwing her career away to run a nonprofit, she didn't make the cut. But Claire had forgotten one thing, a detail so crucial it would turn the night upside down. Emily was the one holding the strings of the entire party. Her heart raced. Her palms tingled with a strange mixture of hurt and anticipation. She whispered to herself, "If they don't want me there, maybe they don't deserve the party at all." Before we dive deeper into this explosive story of betrayal and justice, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Emily should walk away? Or should she teach her family a lesson they'll never forget? Let's find out. Claire had always been the star, the daughter who shined the brightest, even when there wasn't much light to begin with. In school, she was the cheerleader everyone admired. At family dinners, she was the one who made people laugh with rehearsed stories, always soaking up attention like it was oxygen. And when she chose event planning as her career, nobody questioned her. They praised her flair, her taste, her obsession with aesthetics. Her success was measured in appearances, perfect Instagram feeds, lavish brunches, a curated life where every smile was filtered and every moment was staged, and the family, hungry for status, clapped along like an eager audience. Emily was different. She had walked away from a six-figure consulting career to build something that mattered to her. Something that, to the family, seemed laughable. A nonprofit? Helping people? That wasn't success in their eyes. That was failure dressed up as virtue. To them, Emily's thrift shop clothes weren't a choice. They were proof she'd thrown her life away. So while Claire was polished and adored, Emily was the shadow, always invited but never celebrated. Always spoken of in hushed tones, the family's cautionary tale of what happens when you don to follow the rules. And tomorrow's party? It wasn't just their mother's 60th birthday. It was Claire's stage. Months of planning, every detail handpicked, every decoration meant to showcase her talent. She wanted photos that screamed luxury, that whispered to her social circle, "Look at me, look at what I can do." But the dirty little secret was this: Claire couldn't afford it. None of them could. The flowers, the music, the ballroom dripping with gold. It was all built on money that didn't come from her. It came from Emily. And that was the irony sharp enough to cut bone. The sister branded as the family S's failure was the one funding the golden child's masterpiece. Emily leaned back in her chair, staring at the city skyline through her window. The sting of exclusion burned, but under it something else stirred, a pulse of quiet power. Claire thought she was in control. She thought she was the puppet master. But Emily? Emily held the strings. And soon those strings would tighten, because the phone was about to ring, and the truth about who really paid for the party was seconds from exploding. The phone rang at 4:47 p.m. Sharp. Emily almost ignored it. Her desk was covered in reports, numbers, and deadlines for her foundation's next board meeting. But something about the caller ID caught her attention. Riverside Hotel Catering Department. Her brows furrowed. Why would they call her? She wasn't hosting an event, at least not directly. She picked up anyway. "Ms. Johnson?" The voice was polite, professional, and slightly strained. "This is Janet Mills from Riverside Hotel Catering. We have a problem with tomorrow's event." Emily's heartbeat quickened. She didn't speak, just let the silence stretch. The credit card on file for the Johnson family celebration has been declined, and the backup payment authorization was canceled earlier today. Since you're listed as the primary account holder, we need to resolve this by 6 p.m., or the event will be canceled. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. Emily closed her eyes, her sister's text flashing again in her mind. "Don't come. You'll ruin the photos." Oh, the irony. The very party she was banned from was standing on her shoulders. Without her, there was no ballroom, no music, no carefully staged photographs. Without her, Claire's entire empire of appearances crumbled to dust. Emily swallowed hard, her voice steady but firm. "Cancel all payment authorizations for the Johnson family event." The catering manager hesitated. "Ma'am, this is a significant booking." "I'm certain," Emily cut her off. "Cancel everything. Send confirmation to this number." When the call ended, Emily leaned back in her chair, staring at the skyline glowing in the late afternoon sun. For years, she had been treated as invisible, as the disappointing daughter who didn't belong. And yet, she was the one paying for their birthdays, their graduations, their vacations, the invisible backbone of a family that mocked her simplicity while feasting on her generosity. Her chest rose and fell with something sharper than anger. Power. For once, she wasn't the forgotten sister. She was the one with the final say. She knew the calls would start soon. Desperate, panicked, confused. And Emily would finally hear the sound she'd been waiting for. Her family realizing just how fragile their illusion of success really was. And right on time, at 5:23 p.m., her phone buzzed. First Claire, then her mother, then everyone else, each voicemail more frantic than the last. The game had just begun. At 5:23 p.m., the buzzing started. Emily's phone lit up on her desk, Claire's name flashing again and again across the screen. First one call, then another. When Emily let them roll into voicemail, the flood shifted. Texts, voice notes, missed calls piling up one after the other. By 5:31, there were 3 voicemails waiting. By 5:42, there were 5. Each one was more desperate than the last. She pressed play. Claire's voice, high-pitched and trembling. "Call me back immediately. There's some kind of problem with Mom's party payment." Emily smirked faintly. Problem indeed. The next message came faster, words tumbling over each other. "This isn't funny, Emily. The hotel says the payment was canceled. Who would cancel Mom's birthday?" Emily could almost picture her sister pacing the ballroom in her designer heels, pulling at her perfect hair, the flawless image unraveling thread by thread. At 5:47 came the voicemail that made Emily close her eyes and listen twice, savoring every syllable. Claire's voice cracked now, panic leaking through. "The hotel says I'll cancel everything if we don't resolve the payment by 6 p.m. I need to know who was supposed to pay for this," Emily whispered into the silence, though no one could hear her. "You were never supposed to know, were you?" But the family's panic didn't stop there. At 5:52, her phone rang again. This time it wasn't Claire. It was Mom. "Sweetheart," her mother's voice trembled with worry. "Lauren says there's confusion about the payment. 80 people are expecting to celebrate tomorrow night. If we can't fix this, we'll have to cancel everything. It'll be humiliating." Humiliating. That word lingered. For years, Emily had been the family's humiliation, the odd one out, the daughter who didn't shine. Now, it was their perfect little stage that threatened to collapse. Emily's chest tightened, not with guilt, but with clarity. For the first time, her absence wasn't the problem. Her presence was. Her power was. By 5:58, Claire's voice came through again, shrill, almost breaking. "Mom's birthday party is going to be ruined unless I find $15,000 in the next 2 minutes. Please, please answer me. Who was paying for this?" Emily looked at the clock. 5:59, 1 minute to deadline. Her phone buzzed one last time, Claire's voice on the edge of hysteria. And this time, Emily answered. Claire's voice exploded through the receiver. Desperate, demanding answers. And Emily? She finally had the chance to speak the truth that would shatter her sister's perfect little world. "Finally!" Claire's voice exploded the moment Emily picked up. "Do you have any idea what's happening? Mom's birthday party is collapsing around me. Around us. The hotel says the payment was canceled. 80 people. 3 months of planning. $15,000 gone in an instant. This is a disaster. Emily let the hysteria wash over her like a storm she'd seen coming from miles away. Her tone stayed calm, almost serene. That's terrible. How did this happen? I don't know. Claire's voice cracked. The hotel says the account holder canceled, but none of us even know who the account holder is. Some family friend offered to cover costs. Dad thought it was Uncle Miguel's contact. I assumed it was one of Mom's donors. No one knows anything. And now? Now we're all scrambling to find the money before it's too late. Emily leaned back in her chair, her lips curling at the edges. And did you find anyone? A pause. The silence stretched, heavy, like Claire was choking on her own words. No, she admitted finally. Nobody has that kind of money. Not lying around, not on short notice. Emily let the silence linger another beat, just long enough to make her sister squirm. Claire, who did you think was paying for a $15,000 party? Another pause. Then a faint, shaky laugh, the sound of someone trying to hold on to an image already falling apart. I don't know. I thought Dad had arranged something. Or maybe Uncle Miguel, or one of his business contacts. I never thought about it too much. Emily's voice sharpened. Obviously not. And then it happened. Claire's breath caught audibly on the other end. A thought, a suspicion, breaking through like a blade of light in a storm. Unless... Wait. Her tone dropped, soft and shaky. Unless you know something about this. Emily. Tell me you didn't... Didn't what? Emily asked, her voice as smooth as glass. Oh my God. Claire's whisper trembled. It was you, wasn't it? You were paying for the party. All of it. Weren't you? Emily didn't answer. She didn't need to. The silence said more than words ever could. But Claire wasn't ready for the truth, not the full truth, because paying for the party was only the surface. Emily's real secret would make Claire's carefully constructed world collapse completely. On the other end of the line, Claire's breathing grew shallow. Emily, answer me. Were you the one paying for Mom's party? Emily stared at the city skyline through her window, the lights of Portland glittering against the darkening sky. She let the silence hang like a weight, forcing Claire to confront the possibility. Finally, she spoke, her tone deliberate, calm, almost surgical. Yes, Claire, I was. The gasp that followed was sharp enough to cut through the phone. But how? You live in that tiny apartment. You drive a car that should be in a museum. You work at some charity thing. How could you afford $15,000, let alone all the other things? Emily's lips curved into a half smile, but her voice remained steady. Because that charity thing isn't what you think it is. I don't just work for the Cascade Foundation. I founded it. I run it. Silence. Dead silence. Then Claire's voice, small, fragile, like glass about to shatter. Wait. Cascade Foundation? The one that funds schools, hospitals? The one whose name is on buildings? Yes. Her sister stammered, tripping over words. That foundation has hundreds of millions of dollars. Everyone in the city knows its name. 340 million to be exact. And yes, I built it, from scratch. While you were curating your Instagram feed, I was building something that saves lives. The line went quiet again, this time longer, heavier. Emily could almost see her sister's expression, eyes wide, mouth slightly open, her carefully built sense of superiority cracking down the middle. Finally, Claire whispered, "Oh my God, all those times. Dad's birthday party, my graduation, the Hawaii trip, the Christmas dinners. That was you too, wasn't it?" "Yes. And all this time we treated you like you were nothing." Emily leaned forward, her voice soft but razor sharp. "You didn't just treat me like nothing, Claire. You told me not to come tomorrow because I'd ruin your aesthetic, while I was the one paying for the very stage you were so desperate to perform on." On the other end, Claire broke. Her voice cracked into sobs. "Emily, I had no idea. I swear, I didn't know. I thought you were struggling. I thought You thought wrong, Emily cut in. And maybe that's the problem. You never asked. You never cared to see past the surface. You just assumed. And you assumed wrong. But Claire wasn't the only one about to learn the truth. Soon, their mother would call back, and Emily would be forced to decide whether to expose everything or let her family drown in their own illusions. Emily barely had time to hang up before her phone lit up again. This time it wasn't Claire. It was Mom. Her thumb hovered over the answer button, her chest tightening. With Claire, anger had fueled her strength. But with Mom, the weight was different. Heavier. "Sweetheart," her mother's voice came through the line, trembling with worry. "There's some confusion about the party. Claire says the payment was canceled. 80 people are expecting to celebrate tomorrow. The hotel says they'll cancel everything if it isn't resolved. Do you know anything about this?" Emily's pulse pounded. She imagined her mother standing in the kitchen, wringing her hands, stress lining her face. The same mother who, for years, believed Emily had settled for less. Who smiled politely but never asked about her work. "What kind of confusion?" Emily asked carefully. "They don't know who was supposed to pay," Mom said, voice cracking. "Claire's been calling everyone, your uncles, your cousins, but no one seems to know. And now she's panicking. Emily, if this party is canceled, it will be humiliating. People are expecting an elegant evening, everything's been arranged. Humiliating." There it was again. Not disappointing, not painful, but humiliating. For them, appearances mattered more than truth. More than family. Emily closed her eyes, the sting of her mother's words mixing with the heat of long-buried resentment. "I'm sure Claire will figure something out," she said finally. Her mother's breath caught. "But, Emily, do you know who was paying? Was it you?" The question hung in the air, fragile, dangerous. Emily gripped the phone tighter, her knuckles white. She wanted to shout, "Yes, it's been me all along." She wanted to lay bare every sacrifice, every dollar, every sleepless night of work that funded their celebrations. Instead, she let silence linger, and in that silence, her mother's worry deepened. "Sweetheart," her voice softened, almost pleading now. "If it was you, why wouldn't you tell us?" Emily swallowed hard. Images flashed in her mind. Her father raising a glass at Christmas, Claire flaunting a designer dress bought with money she'd indirectly provided, her mother smiling at parties she had secretly made possible. None of them had ever asked how. None of them had ever cared. Her heart raced, torn between the ache of old wounds and the temptation of long-awaited vindication. And then she heard it. Her mother's whisper, almost breaking. "Emily, are we about to lose everything tomorrow because of you?" The question cut deeper than any insult Claire had thrown. Tomorrow's party, and the truth, now rested entirely in Emily's hands. Would she let them collapse under their own blindness or reveal the power she had hidden for years? Emily sat at her desk, the phone pressed against her ear, her mother's question echoing in her mind. "Are we about to lose everything tomorrow because of you?" Her jaw tightened. For years they had seen her as the weak link, the charity case, the daughter who didn't live up to the family's glossy expectations. And now, without her, the entire illusion they had built, every chandelier, every champagne glass, every rose petal, was seconds from collapse. She took a slow breath, letting the silence stretch just enough to make her mother's voice tremble on the other end. "No, Mom," Emily said finally, her tone calm but sharp. "You're about to lose everything tomorrow because of how you've treated me." There was a stunned pause. Then softly, "Emily." At 5:59, her phone buzzed again. Claire, her voice almost shrieking this time. "Answer me. Mom's party is going to be ruined. The hotel needs the payment now or it's gone. $15,000, Emily, do you understand?" Emily finally spoke the words she'd been holding back for years. "Claire, who did you think was paying for this party?" The silence on the other end was thick, suffocating. Then Claire whispered, broken, "It was you. All along, it was you." "Yes," Emily said simply. "And it's been me for years. Dad's birthday, your graduation, the vacations. Every time you posted photos to show the world how perfect we are, It was me writing the checks behind the curtain. Claire's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell us? Because you never asked, Emily shot back. You saw my car, my apartment, my clothes, and you decided I was a failure. You decided appearances meant more than substance. And I let you. I wanted to know if I was loved for who I am, or for what I could give. Her mother spoke softly now, regret soaking through her words. Sweetheart, we were wrong. Emily's voice dropped, steady as steel. Yes, you were. And now everything depends on me. If I choose not to reinstate the payment, there will be no party. No photos, no perfect little stage for Claire to shine on. Just 80 confused guests and the truth that your golden image was built on the daughter you all dismissed. On the other end of the line, both women were silent. Emily could feel the weight of their desperation pressing through the phone, heavy and raw. For once, she wasn't invisible. She wasn't forgotten. She was the one in control, and she intended to use it. With the deadline gone and the family finally on their knees, Emily was ready to deliver her terms. But the real question was, would they change, or would they just beg until the crisis passed? The clock had already ticked past 6. The ballroom was technically gone, the contract void. And yet Claire and their mother clung to the line as if Emily still held the keys to their survival. Because she did. Claire's voice cracked first. Emily, please. I know what I said was awful. I know I told you not to come, that you'd ruin the photos. But Mom doesn't deserve this. 80 people are expecting a celebration. If you reinstate the payment, we can still save it. I'll fix this. I'll fix everything. Just please don't let Mom be humiliated. Humiliated. That word again. Emily felt it twist in her chest. For years, she had been their humiliation, the sister they kept out of frame, the daughter whose choices were whispered about behind closed doors. And now the fear of humiliation was forcing them to see her. She leaned back in her chair, fingers drumming against the armrest, her voice slow and deliberate. You want me to reinstate the payment? Fine, but things change. From this point forward, I won't be your silent wallet. If I support family events, I'm acknowledged, included, respected. No more hiding me from the photos because I don't fit the aesthetic. No more whispers about failure. Do you understand? Silence. Then a choked whisper. Yes. Emily continued, her words sharper with every sentence. And there's more. I don't care if you respect me because I run a multi-million-dollar foundation or because I live modestly. I care that you respect me because I'm your family. I will not accept anything less. On the other end, her mother's voice broke through, softer than she'd ever heard it. Emily, we've treated you horribly. We judged you by appearances, not by the heart of what you do. I see that now. I promise. We'll do better. We need to do better. Emily closed her eyes, letting the moment settle. For the first time, they weren't speaking from a pedestal. They weren't correcting her, dismissing her, or rolling their eyes at her work. They were begging. They were acknowledging her power. She took a slow breath. Then call the hotel. Tell them the payment authorization has been reinstated. This time, under one condition. My name isn't hidden. Everyone will know who made this possible. Not because I need applause, but because I won't let you erase me anymore. On the other end, Claire's sobbing turned into relief. Yes, Emily. I'll do it. I'll tell them. I'll tell everyone. For the first time in years, Emily felt something loosen inside her chest. Not bitterness, not anger, but justice. The party would go on. But this time, it wouldn't just be about chandeliers and photographs. It would be about recognition, truth, and a family forced to finally face the daughter they had ignored for too long. The Riverside Hotel ballroom glowed with golden light, chandeliers sparkling like constellations suspended above the crowd. 80 guests filled the room, glasses clinking, music swelling. To anyone looking in, it was flawless, perfect, just as Claire had imagined. But this time, there was a difference. When Emily stepped through the doors in her simple black dress, heads turned. Not because she was the most glamorous woman in the room, but because she was no longer invisible. Claire met her at the entrance, her eyes red from a night of tears, And for once, she didn't rush past her sister to pose for the cameras. She reached for her hand instead. "This is my sister, Emily," Claire told anyone who would listen. "She's the reason we're all here tonight. She runs the Cascade Foundation, the one that changes lives in this city every single day. And she's the one who made this party possible." For a moment, Emily felt the weight of years lift. No more shadows, no more whispers, just truth spoken out loud. During the toasts, her father raised his glass. "To my wife of 40 years, who taught our daughters the importance of giving back. And to Emily, whose generosity has carried this family more times than we ever knew. Tonight is proof of her strength, her vision, and her heart." Applause echoed through the ballroom. Emily's cheeks burned, not from shame this time, but from a quiet pride she had earned. Later, as the night wound down and guests began to leave, her mother pulled her aside. "Sweetheart," she whispered, tears glistening in her eyes. "We judged you by the wrong things. I'm proud of you. Not for paying for tonight, but for the life you've built, for the lives you've touched." Emily hugged her tightly, her heart steady. "That's all I ever wanted, Mom, for you to see me." 6 months later, everything had changed. Claire began volunteering with one of Cascade's education programs. Her father introduced potential donors. Her mother joined the foundation's advisory committee. And Emily? She was no longer the ghost behind the curtain. She was family again, visible, acknowledged, respected. As Emily raised her glass at Easter dinner that spring, she reflected on the journey. Sometimes justice isn't loud or violent. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simple, making those who dismissed you finally see the truth. Justice doesn't always come in the form of punishment. Sometimes it comes in recognition, in truth revealed, in respect finally earned. And now I want to hear from you. What is the most satisfying moment of justice or revenge you've ever seen? Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories and hit that like button if this one made your heart beat a little faster. Because sometimes, the quietest people carry the loudest power.